Well, hi everyone, it's Markus and welcome to more Zooming in the Jungle Room. Today, it's crazy. I'm going further than I've ever been before. I'm going all the way over to Dublin where I'm speaking to one of the High Kings. His name is Darren Holden. Darren, how are you?
I'm great, Markus. Nice to see you, and thanks for the chat.
I was just saying before we started recording that the Adelaide weather and the Dublin weather is actually not that far off at the moment, pretty much on par.
Yeah, like it's pretty dull here. It's cold. I mean, for June, it's usually really sweltering hot here at the moment, but not this year. We're all trying to figure out what's going on. But you were just saying I'm going to feel pretty much at home when I get there. So yeah, I'll pack accordingly
Yeah,
and
exactly.
hope for the best.
Whatever you're wearing right there, you can bring over here. So
Brilliant.
of course, the June 2024 Australian tour is kicking off very shortly. So, I mean, you'll probably be packing your bags any minute now, probably in the last minute of the rehearsals, are you?
Yeah, look, I haven't even started packing yet because we're actually in the midst of we've got some dates going on over here, and we're also recording new material at the moment. We're sort of prepping for a new album to follow up the Road Not Taken album, which we hope will come out next year. But yeah, we're really excited to get over to Australia again because last year was our first time to be there collectively, and we had the best time. It was just way better than any of us anticipated or hoped for. Crowds were huge and they were real proper, as we call it, real proper stand-up gigs, and everybody was wedged in, and the atmosphere was just incredible, and we just couldn't wait to come back. And when we got the offer in to go back, we were just so happy, and we were celebrating big time. So we're really looking forward. Can't wait to get there.
Going to be brilliant. And the 2023 tour was a sellout all across Australia as well. I know there's just a few tickets left for this year, but I mean, people are going to be quick because, you know, this is going to sell out as well. It's still a couple of weeks away yet. But so Adelaide, we're looking at, well, actually probably about 3 weeks away. Adelaide is Saturday, the 29th of June at the Gov. Was that where you played last year, the Gov?
It was an absolutely phenomenal gig. We had heard so much about it. And when we got there, we were like, no way, this is absolutely deadly. It was so cool. And everybody plays there, so which is really great. You know, we had with some great local crew there, and the promoter was great there, and management were great, fantastic. And they just gave us all the history. And we were buzzing when we got on that stage. It was just such a great fun, you know, really great fun. And the crowd were really up for it as well.
And, you know, I mean, seriously, that stage has held some absolute giants in the industry. You know, the original Bob Marley and the Wailers have played there. You know, Boney are there doing their world tour in a couple of weeks. It's been some pretty major people.
Big names.
Yeah.
We're in good company then. We're in very good company. That's great.
Exactly. And they say exactly the same about you guys. Don't you worry about that.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's been about 10 years now you've been in the industry. You know, the High Kings have been around 10 years, just over.
It's a little bit over. It's actually closer to 15 at the moment. But I'd say probably in the last 10 years, we really started to make a proper dent. I mean, we were initially just launched in America, even though we're an Irish band. And in America, we were signed to EMI Records in 2008. We did an album of our versions of older Irish folk tunes that maybe hadn't been touched in a long time. And the album reached #2 on Billboard after about 2 weeks, and we were blown away. So we were on this media campaign. And on the strength of that media campaign, where we did all the American television shows, we're still sort of in demand over there. And that really set us up with a great platform. But then it kind of spilled out to the rest of Europe as well. And finally, over to you guys last year. I mean, we've been hearing that people wanted us over there for at least 10 years, just could never make it happen. Yeah. And we were so frustrated. So last year it was like, finally we're there. But it's just been such a great ride. It's just been like one thing after the next with the albums. And we always try to vary it, but it's been really good. And we think we're in a good position right now to keep going for another 10 years at least.
Yeah, do it, please. And we need it. So 8 albums now, I think, the Road Not Taken was the 8th studio album. So is there some new music coming out soon as well as there?
Yeah, well, we've been recording in the studio. We're actually releasing sort of tracks that didn't make the album now. We're just sort of redoing them again in the studio and giving them a little bit of a facelift, and we're putting stuff out online just to keep the fans happy until we get to the next record. But we're also at the same time putting new material for the album to one side as well that we know is going to make the album. So, but it's just good fun. We always create. I've got my own little setup here, so I'm always sort of writing every day. I'm the one who annoys the other guys in the band. They go, "Oh, he's got another song, God," But I love doing it, and I love writing with loads of different people. Like when I was over there with you guys last year, I reached out to Andrew Faris from INXS, and lo and behold, 99 times out of 100, I never get a reply back from people who I admire. But Andrew, being the gentleman that he is, reached back to me, and we have been writing this song for we keep going back and forth on it since a year ago, and he wants to get it absolutely perfect. But one of the nicest guys I've ever worked with in the entire music industry, and he's absolutely royalty over there, and what a super dude, and just so good. So hopefully that will make the album next year.
Well, hopefully when you get here on the tour in June, you can catch up with him and sit down, lock yourself away, and actually just finish that, right?
Absolutely. We've been talking the last few days, so I know he lives outside Sydney, and I'm hoping to have a little bit of time out there to go visit him.
So when you get to Australia, do you have much downtime at all, or is it just show after show after show?
I think the first, we get there on the 18th, I think it is, on the 19th, and then we have a couple of days to kind of acclimatize, and then I think we hit the ground running in Brisbane on the 21st, and then Sydney on the 22nd, Canberra the 23rd, and then I think we've got a few days off before we go to Melbourne, which is the 28th. So we're hoping to just kind of, chill out and, check out the local scene, culture, and all that kind of stuff there. Because I didn't get a lot of time in Melbourne last year to kind of check it all out. And I did in Brisbane, I did in Sydney, and but not Melbourne. And I really wanted to make amends for that this year. And I just love to get out of the hotel, walk around, meet people, have a drink, have some food, go check out some music. And I love record stores. So, that's my thing. I just lose myself for about 2 or 3 hours in those.
You'll find me in the record store as well. I'll be there. So how much of your music have you brought out on vinyl? And you're going to be bringing it across on tour?
Yeah, I think we're going to have some vinyl over there. The new album is on vinyl, The Road Not Taken. We brought out another album a few years back called Grace and Glory on vinyl. But the new album has really just catapulted things to a place that we never actually thought it would go to. It's the first all original High Kings album. And that idea came about over, when we were all in lockdown. And I was talking to our manager one day, and I said, we need to kind of come out of this with something really great to show for it. And so the idea went around that we wanted to do an original album. Then we started having people reach back to us, people like The Script, who are one of our biggest bands here, Codaline, Picture This. All these writers started reaching out going, hey, I hear you're looking for material. Can we work with you? Can we collaborate? So obviously we got some really good stuff in. And then I started to write some stuff in the vein of what we were getting. And it just really, really took off. And it's just been the biggest thing we could have hoped to done at that time. And it's been such a big hit for us. And we're so grateful for that, And it's still, every day you turn the radio on here in Ireland, you hear one particular track, Chasing Rainbows. It's every single day. It's that hit that everybody hopes they have at least one of those, in a band. And I think we got one, but hopefully not the last one either.
Can I tell you, well, I'm sure it won't be. Can I please tell you one of my favorite songs, and the whole album, The Road Not Taken, is absolute brilliance. But one of my favorite I play on repeat. The sentiment behind it, and I don't even know the true story of when you actually sit down and wrote it. But the song for Kelly is just like an unreal song. I mean, it's so gutsy. It just hits you right here, doesn't it? Do you have a favorite?
Well, just on the song for Kelly, I think it might be that one as well. And I'll tell you what happened. So it was a really good friend of mine, lost his daughter a long time ago. At the time, it was 17. It was coming up at 17 years, and he just happened to tell me that every year at Christmas he would go and lay a teddy bear on her headstone, and he just said this year there'll be 17 teddy bears. And at the time, my dad was very, very ill, and he's since passed away. It was just it was like this. I was open to this emotional portal, let's say. And I was in bed one night, and all of this started to come to me. All 17 stuffed teddy bears lay on a cold grey stone, and I had to get out of bed and write the whole thing. And I
Wow.
had no idea where it came from. It was almost like somebody else gave me the song, and I played it for my friend, and he so emotionally, moved by it. He played it for his friends, and everybody said that's just incredible. But I still, to this day, it's not the type of song that I would always write. It was almost like somebody came to me and said, "There's that song that you need to write." And so many people around the world have, it's been resonating with them. We get so many messages, and it was a very, very difficult song to record. It took maybe 2 takes of that in a darkened studio just to get into the zone. But I really appreciate you saying that. It's really, really cool.
So
Um,
cool.
I guess that's one of them, and the other one for me came about, was written by Glenn Power from the script, and it was called The Streets of Kinsale, and it's tells the tale of the White Lady of Kinsale who married her husband, who was who was a soldier, and he died on their wedding night, and she was so upset that she took her own life on their wedding night in County Cork in Kinsale. And it's a beautiful old-fashioned Irish tune. But Steve Perry from Journey heard the demo and reached out and asked if I would mind if he sung on it with me. And I just laughed. I was like, what do you mean, would I mind? I mean, he's a hero of mine. He can sing whatever the hell he wants to sing. And he did. And it was great. And him and I did a bunch of Zooms about a year ago for the album as well. We spent a whole day. He was in California. I was in the UK at the time. And what a nice man. What a great guy. Iconic, but just so down to earth. But yeah, I think those two, that Song for Kelly and The Streets of Kinsale, are probably my favorites that I keep going back to on the record.
When you're in the process of writing some new music, doing a whole new album as well, how do you get into the zone of writing or, selecting the songs that you really want to play, sing, all of that? How do you find your inspiration?
I think a lot of the inspiration comes from the audiences at gigs, when we're out touring and you see what they react to and you see what maybe doesn't get the same reaction. So at the moment, a lot of the songs like Chasing Rainbows and The Irish Rover and Connemara Bay, some of the more up-tempo songs, particularly the original ones, they're getting the reaction. So that kind of tells us that the fans have welcomed the new direction we're going in, the new material. But we always tend to be mindful to not go too far ahead and forget where we started. So you got your Whiskey in the Jar, Rocky Road to Dublin, as I mentioned, The Irish Rover, Town I Love So Well. We've got to have all those in there, the big hitters, as we call them. And then you sort of stretch it out a bit and move forward. So some of the new recordings are more sort of, not in your face, but more upbeat, more sort of raw and hot and heavy, as we call it, and giving people what they want. And you try them out at gigs and you see the reaction, and then you know that you're on the right path with the next bunch of songs that you're going to do. So yeah, it's the audience tell us what we need to do, and we always listen to them too.
That's so cool. Darren, when it comes to traditional songs, is there a song that you always resonate with? From the old days, from your younger days, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mentioned one there a second ago, The Town I Love So Well. It was written in 1972 at the height of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. Now, I wasn't even around, but my mom and my aunt always sung it to me when I was a toddler. And I knew the words from about 8 years old. It was like 5 or 6 verses in it. And it was such a sad song, but such an uplifting song at the same time. And it was written by Phil Coulter, who's one of our absolute greatest songwriters here in Ireland. He's written for everybody like Elvis, and he did all the Bay City Rollers hits in the 70s. And he's done so many great Irish ballads for the Dubliners. But that song particularly was written firsthand from him. He lived in Derry. He grew up in Derry, born and bred there. So he saw firsthand the Troubles, and he was able to write from the heart and from the soul. And that song has just stood the test of time. It's over 50 years old now. But every night I sing that song. It's never the same version. You find somewhere new to go with it. And it's such a strong and poignant story that it just takes you on a journey for 5 or 6 minutes. And it strikes a chord. But I think that's the one. Yeah, that's for me. That's the big one.
Well, you know what, Darren? I'm going to give you a compliment right now. I feel like the energy that you see in that song and that songwriter indeed is the same kind of energy that your fans see in you when you produce your songs,
Thank you.
The High Kings, because your songs resonates with so many people all around the world. Can I ask you, so
Thank
when
you.
I'm really bummed that when you do Adelaide, you're kind of in from Melbourne, quickly
Yeah.
out, and then on to Perth. We're not even going to have a time to go and have a coffee or go to the wineries even. I think
I know.
2025 tour, we need to make sure that you're in Adelaide for about 3 days, please. All right?
I would love it. I would love it. Absolutely. I mean, I was just in and out there last year for a second as well, but I loved the vibe of Adelaide. I just thought it was really, really cool. Good people, as we call it, good stock, and you know what you're getting and it's real and keeping it real. And that's what we love.
Yes. The Adelaide audiences just love these shows. So, we're going to have a great big night. I can guarantee that.
Fantastic.
So, like I said, Saturday, the 29th of June in Adelaide at the Gov. What can we expect this time round with the 2024 The High Kings Tour?
I would say you expect all the big songs that we do, that we've become known for. The new songs from the album, The Road Not Taken, The Chasing Rainbows, Connemara, Men of Iron is going to go in there this time. It wasn't in last year. We may put Son of Ireland in. There's a bunch of older tracks as well that we have just gotten our hands on, and we're doing new versions of those. It's going to be a party. It's going to be upbeat. It's going to be, plenty of energy. So people just need to park their cares and worries at the door, forget about it for 2 hours, and let us take you on that journey with us for 2 hours. And it's going to be just fun. It's all about fun and singing along. It's an Irish party, and we're ready to go. So hopefully you guys are ready to go as well.
I'm going to be there for it. Darren Holden from the High Kings, you are such a pleasure to talk to. I can
and likewise, Marcus.
When you get to Adelaide, we're going to catch up.
Thank you.
Please save a vinyl for me. I'm going to grab one. And I'll see you at the show. Like I said, 29th of June in Adelaide. It is the Road Not Taken 2024 Australian Tour. Darren, what a pleasure. I'll see you in Adelaide very soon.
Pleasure's mine, Marcus. Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much.